I think it is your job as an educator to protect your students. That's the biggest thing with internet safety is the protection of those students, and I think it's your job to inform them and warn them of the different dangers, and then just be able to be a reinforcement for them and caress them as they go along. Also, one of the things that I like in this module was the thing about the technology programs where they have almost like a signed form, a AUP, where students and parents have to sign, dealing with, within the school district, that they will comply to these, different things within the technology, the dangers that could come up, and then just the usage of the technology as well. Specifically, I think a way you can incorporate that into your classroom is, send one of those AUPs. That's got to be your first step. Have their um, parents and students sign it after you've informed the students of, different things. You can show videos. I think you can do maybe a whole lecture on it, show a video presentation, and then maybe even have the students get onto their electronic devices or technology devices and go on to, somewhere like NetSmarts and click on some of the presentations or complete a one of the websites that has a digital citizenship thing about, safety on the internet and things like that. And you could just do a whole, tiny little units on, different things of, keeping internet safety, or just do a whole module about internet safety, kind of like we're doing now, but do it with, your students in the future in the classroom. The NetSmarts website and the training program, the digital citizenship thing, I thought was a really good thing. It's really relevant to, right now in our future, like, and looks at the future ahead, and, some of this safety things. I think that the presentations are good. It talks about relevant information of, safety problems that they have today with different students and things they might face, and then just overall, I think that as an educator, you should complete that. And also, I think the students could also complete the NetSmarts one to find and figure out the information they need to know about internet safety. And since the digital citizenship thing was not working, the whole lesson thing on the NetSmarts thing, I screenshotted about the gaming was the presentation thing. I screenshotted on there, and I just felt that was the most relevant thing because you see a lot of kids nowadays gaming. I think it said 72% of students, male and female, ages 13 through 17, play video games now. And I think, some of the ways it was talking about was just the reason I chose that is because it's relevant. You see, that's all kids talk about today. As a para, I see, kids age even down to the kindergarten or first grade who play video games nowadays, and that's all they talk about. And I think it's important that they understand the safety. They're going to hear that foul language, adult language, explicit language on there. That's one of the things with it. And then also just their privacy as well on when playing these online games. And then I think some of the best ways to combat that are just asking them, what kind of games do you play, and maybe ask them to write down what some of the things they hear on there are, like in terms of explicit language, things like that. And that there's just, it was a good overall module presentation thing about gaming, because it's, to me, that's one of the things you see in today's kids a lot. So with the article that we read about, I think the two main points to hit on, I mean, there's also subtopics to go with that, and I'll hit on that later. But the two main points were cyberbullying and then unwanted exposure to sexual content. And, with both of those, they hit the subtopics of like prevalence, how it happens, and then ways to combat it, basically, ways to combat those type of situations, like coping strategies and different things that you can do to help detect those things, or help, like maybe you block somebody who is, giving you that unwanted sexual content, or deleting and, blocking that from the browser. That's one of the ways you can do that. Or with cyberbullying, blocking that person, or maybe changing your web account thing. That's the main thing, and it just hit on all those points. And that's what I could take away is, different coping strategies as well. And then like the prevalence where you see it and how it happens. And it was very informative, and it helped me understand different ways of internet safety and the different things you might see, different dangers, and then the ways to combat that. And so that's why it was a good article to read. And thank you.